Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about 4 ways you can transform your team's performance. Now, this is important because let's face it, just because you're leading a team does not mean they're about to win a national championship. And truly, most of us are leading teams that are kind of like C to B teams that we're trying to transform into A teams or people who play excellent, who are reaching goals, transforming the world, whatever that may be for you, right? And so I'm going to give you 4 tools that you can use in order of severity, meaning depending on how severe things are, you can start anywhere from method 1 and you're going to just work your way down to the 4th method. Now, I've been using this technique for a long time, but actually Cindy Trim was the first person I've seen outline it and kind of put it on paper. And when I was taking one of her courses, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what I do. This is what I do, right? And I was finally able to just put down the structure of a method that I'd been using, but just not necessarily organizing or teaching. But guess what? Today's the day of redemption. We are teaching this, right? So, keeping this in mind, without a vision, the people perish, okay? And when you're working with teams, oftentimes teams underperform because no one has thoroughly, authentically, and truly and honestly cast a vision for them, okay? So your first step to transforming an okay to mediocre medium team into an extra large, okay, is communication. You want to communicate the vision. You want to communicate the particulars of the challenge that they're facing. You want to communicate the details that are important. You want to communicate the answer. Like, hey, you know what? Here's the problem, but here are some solutions, right? Because everyone's looking for direction. Or maybe you're seeing the problem and you're communicating the result you want, but you're asking your team, hey, what can we do to do this, right? Now, this is when things aren't very severe. You can speak broadly to the entire team, maybe speak to, the leaders of the group or what have you. But I do this when I have like leaders in place that are committed and skilled, because I know if I just communicate this, they're going to take it into their own hands, apply it, make it work. Okay. So step number 1, communicate. This is a low severity type of situation. Like things aren't crazy, but you're seeing that they're not quite together yet. Okay. So the second thing that you want to do is influence. So things at this point are a little more severe. And at this point, I'm like, all right, maybe my leaders aren't doing as great of a job influencing the team. So what I'm going to do is step in a little bit closer. So maybe we've gone from a group call or a group meeting or something like that to small groups, to one-on-one coaching sessions, to different development sections. Maybe I am looking for action items and follow-up items, things of that nature. But I'm really bringing the team of the emotional leaders together, because I'm not caught up in titles, and people on teams are not caught up in titles either. I want to know who's the heartbeat of the organization. Who is everyone listening to? And oftentimes it's not the person with the little plate here, all that other stuff. I'm looking around on the call, in the office, in wherever, and I'm seeing, when I say things, who's everyone looking at? When this person speaks, does everyone get quiet and nod? Or is this the person that's constantly interrupted? And I'm getting a feel for who are the emotional leaders, and I'm taking those people underneath my wing and I'm influencing them. I may do, some nice dinners, gifts, one-on-one sessions. I'm just getting to their heart and letting them tell me what needs to happen, and me just kind of redirecting when necessary. Okay. So that is influencing the situation. And anytime this is happening, I want to keep everything positive. Okay. Everyone else is negative. I'm like, look, I'm on your team. How can I support you? Let's do this. This is why this is important. Influence. Okay. Remember, leadership is simply influence, right? And I'm just doing this from a little bit further away. Now, the third step, things have gotten a little severe. Maybe my leaders, either they're not stepping up or maybe it's just too big of a problem for them to take on themselves. And it doesn't mean that they're just incapable, but maybe they haven't gained the skills and the experience yet to really make a difference and to transform, the organization or transform the results, right? At this point, I'm going to do what's called infiltrate. Yes, infiltrate, like a little roach coming into the house. like, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of anything, right? But I'm trying to get into what's happening. This is when I start taking a hands-on approach. I'm getting dirty at this point. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to be there for a long time. I can infiltrate for a day or for 5 hours. I may have a group meeting and do a 2 hour workshop, 5 hour workshop, or something like that. Mix in some meetings with other people, then putting it all together, meeting with the management team, coming up with some new rules, things of that nature, right? But this is when I'm getting into the depths of what's happening with this team. I'm interviewing people. I'm sending out, anonymous feedback forms. I'm asking broad questions, right? Because you never want to ask specific questions because they'll give you a specific answer. I like to ask broad questions when I'm infiltrating, like, hey, what's something you feel needs to improve? About what? I don't know. What's on your mind? you know? Um, what's your biggest opposition to growth here? If you could change one thing about this team or about this program, what would it be? Broad, open-ended questions. Why? Because they're going to give me a specific answer. And what I'm going to look for at that time are trends. What are they saying? What are they thinking? What are this, that, right? But I'm not only going to just send forms. I'm going to start pulling these people aside. I'm going to have these little like karate ninja meetings. Like, all right, come on over here. You want some whatever food, Denny's, fancy sushi, Indian food. I'm going to bring them out. I'm just going to dine them and wine them and just start asking questions to figure out what's happening. And I may have some transformative conversations then. But what I'm doing is I'm immersing myself into the situation and I'm infiltrating the situation and I'm putting my personal influence and my personal touches and my systems and all those in place with the team. Okay, so that's me infiltrating, right? I'm getting in there, all right? And and when you do that, it doesn't have to be for an extended period of time. It could be for a day, it can be for a week, it can be for a month, right? It just depends on how long you believe the process is going to be and how severe the problem is. But I only infiltrate once I've already tried communication and influence. And the last portion is to transform. This is when I say, look, we only going to work under a full commitment. Meaning I have to dedicate myself as a leader to transforming this business, place, organization, person. And I'm saying, hey, I'm going to be a part of the regular ins and outs of what happens here. So I'm infiltrating all over the place. But not only am I infiltrating, I'm not leaving. Right? This isn't a temporary thing to where this may be something that I work on for months. It could be I can work with this. I've had people in organizations that I've worked with for years until I saw a full transformation of the business. And I'm talking people going from, maybe banking $3,000 to $4,000 a month to, businesses that will bank that look, it's an hour. You know what I mean? Where they're banking anywhere between 30 to 70K weekly. All right. And that only comes from really transforming the business, just getting in there, figuring out, okay, what do I need to do to help these people? Okay. And just committing to the entire process. Okay. From the rooter to the tutor, your hands are in it. All right. And that's transformation. Now, obviously, that is when the case is the most severe. Okay, like everything's out of order, and the only thing I can do is jump in the pool and swim with you to get it back. All right. So I hope that this helps you to where you know if you're looking to transform a team into a high performing team, you've got to communicate, influence, infiltrate, and transform. Transform also penetrate. Either way, right? And so I hope this helps you. I hope you apply this and that you can commit to every step of the process and commit to just finishing whatever steps necessary to transform that position and to transform that organization. Because every organization, especially a team that's not thriving, is waiting for that strong voice and that strong direction to tell them which way to go. And if you're watching this, you're probably that voice. And whether or not they succeed, survive, and thrive is going to be based upon whether or not you choose to answer the call. And I'm going to end this with saying every need you see in the world, there's someone that's off their post. You don't be the person that's off your post. And if you need any other help with this, or you need help with your vision and defining your vision, defining your strategy for the year, please take the courses down in there. And again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.